just a few things that they would like you to take away. I know we may have already covered some of this during the question and answer, but Ho-Mei-Yun, we heard from you first. Would you like to give us a couple of your final thoughts?
Yeah, I think, I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I think, from our perspective, we believe that increasingly we need to elevate the conversation from this idea of sort of a boutique activity, if you will, or niche activity around insiders who present a threat, to one that's a broader security problem. And it's a security issue that is tied to better value across the organization of concern, be it government, military, industry, sort of anywhere in between. Having a secure organization drives objectives, and at the heart are key risk indicators, right? One of them being those members of your workforce. So to the extent that we can both enable, arguably, this is not a hard science number, but arguably the 99% of your workforce that will continue to remain productive and a valued contributor, and then establish the appropriate security paradigms to address the 1% or less in an organization who have ill intent. It's a relatively small but significant investment that otherwise has the potential for significant ROI or return on investment to drive objectives forward. And I think really this security is a business discussion. Security is a mission discussion. And it's less about this idea that there is an insider and the threat that they pose. It's about how best do we protect the workforce? How best do we protect the supply chain? How best do we look at the organization and drive towards a more cohesive and secure environment? Thanks.
Thank you so much. Harry, we heard from you. You were our second speaker. Do you want to give us a couple of closing thoughts from today's presentation?
Sure. Thank you, Andy and Audrey, for allowing us to speak today. So the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence is working hard to develop some practical approaches to improving the cybersecurity of the nation's industries. And we're very focused on the critical infrastructure sectors of the economy. We are looking at these issues from a technical perspective. So in the privileged account management space, those privileged users that could potentially become insider threats can be managed and to limit your exposure through policies of least privilege and hiding the credentials for those accounts that they use from their use for themselves. So they are monitored, controlled access, implementing least privilege, and thereby limiting the exposure to the organization of any privileged user, administrator, for the most part, in the organization to gaining access to systems or accounts that they shouldn't. We're also proposing that privileged account management techniques, technology should be applied to other high value applications. It's not specific to the administrators of the organization. It can be applied, and we think successfully limit exposure when applied to high value applications such as those social media applications, financial applications, HR applications, and so forth. So by implementing privileged account management, you limit your exposure to any one insider gaining access beyond their official duties. And thanks again.
Thank you so much. And Colonel Birmingham, we heard from you. You were our third speaker. Do you want to give us a couple of closing thoughts from today's presentation?
Yeah, I think one is that it's Well, detection of salient events with analytical significance by monitoring is key. You really have to have a broader mission set. You have to deter, detect, mitigate, prevent, not just try and detect threats. To kind of echo Humayun, it takes the whole team. It's not just a small insider threat team. It is the whole organization doing things along a number of lines of effort that is going to decrease risk in the organization, not just a small team of people out there trying to take care of it. And then I'd say just in developing and running a program, two key things are make sure it fits your context and what you need and what's appropriate for your structure, your people, your culture, and your mission. And then anything that you do, I would say question your assumptions about what is valid, what is effective, because what you think may be a critical indicator of risk may not be. You might be looking at the wrong thing, and what you think is effective at actually mitigating threats may not be. So always try and question your assumptions and insist on evidence-based approaches as you figure out your tools and tactics and techniques and procedures.